The ocean is like the planet's heart. It regulates the Earth's climate with its currents, sending vital heat and moisture around the globe, just like the heart does with the human body. Now, that's something to think about, isn't it, given that World's Ocean Day was just around the corner. But not even 10% of this Earth's vast blue waters has been mapped, which begs the question, what lies beneath the blue? We will find out more about the ocean in a few weeks on Kaleidoscope. We are positive, daring, different. Welcome. Today we are chatting with this year's Gratiaen Prize winner, talking entrepreneurship in Sri Lanka and discovering the Sea Vadas. Kaleidoscope is on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn. So make sure to subscribe and follow and like us for more. We have some amazing partners on the show, Srilanka Live, CDB and The Daily Morning. Thank you for always being there with us.
CDB Hybrid Leasing. Enjoy exclusive interest rate and much more for hybrids, plug-in hybrids and EV vehicles.
Looking back at the week that was on CDB Snapshot. An astronomical shift. Sri Lanka ventures into deep space exploration with China. The Ceylon Chamber of Commerce conducts Sri Lanka's first ever taxpayer perception study. Sri Lanka is recognized as one of the top 3 must-visit destinations for summer 2024 by Forbes. International tourism reaches 97% of pre-pandemic levels in Q1 of 2024. Indigo Airlines has stepped up its game, giving female travelers the option to choose seats next to other women. A new study finds that African elephants address each other using individual calls, just like we call each other by name.
You focus on your goals. We will take care of the risks. Srilanka Life.
Welcome to Srilanka Life News Capsule. 90% of Sri Lanka's businesses are sole ownership businesses, quite a good indication that more are braving into entrepreneurship. In 2021, Sri Lanka's early stage entrepreneurial activity was at 19.1%, and that has seen an increase. But is it enough? I invited Chairman of Lanka Impact Investing Network, Chandula Abevikrama, who has worked for decades in entrepreneurship, to find out what we need to build a nation of entrepreneurs. Now, is entrepreneurship inherent in Sri Lankans, or do we have to push it in to make it part of our psyche?
People, I feel, have still not understood the concept and the journey of the enterprise yet. Though there are businesses and what we call small and medium, micro, but the entrepreneurship is, I think, it's not understood the way it is done in the most developed countries.
So what do we need in place to encourage more people to take the plunge and build a nation of entrepreneurs?
What we need is to understand, make sure that there is a much more bigger journey on an entrepreneur, for an entrepreneur as well as enterprise, which he has the, I would say, understand society, in other words, society means people, and also the environment he lives in, and the emerging opportunities and needs of the environment continuously, and come up with new ideas and solutions that he can solve some of those issues commercially and create a value for it.
Any examples of nations or industries that have been built on entrepreneurship?
Most of the developed world, the United States of America, they hold to nearly 70% of the global franchises, starting from McDonald's, KFC, Google, iPhone, all these successful continuous entrepreneurship born there. And that success depends not just a one-off enterprise, a brand creation takes place which run for ages and ages despite the original founder is not there, because it's a journey that have been mapped out. So I think then you move to Europe, then in our Asian countries you move to Japan, Taiwan. So the enterprise culture is created there to be born as an enterprise. Enterprises are born, and then entrepreneurs drive those enterprises.
So, 3 things you would like to see done to ensure that entrepreneurs are encouraged.
In other countries, entrepreneurship is blossomed by support through the ecosystem which provides access to private equity. That's very important, because when an entrepreneur has an idea, that idea has to be, if he is solving a society or environment problem, that has to be supported by creating access to capital. The regulatory framework should be there to be more friendly for entrepreneur to incorporate legally his business, regulate his business, and pay income tax, bring employees. All that has to be not negatively kind of looked at, positively supported to entrepreneur to kind of encourage more into it. Finally, the support of facilitation of a market for these entrepreneurs to bring their products and services across to whole island wide as well as the region, and then possibly become an exporter globally.
And now for a quick look at the markets this week. At the Colombo Stock Exchange, the all-share price index continued to hover around one-year heights, but average daily turnover levels dropped significantly as investors looked for other investment options. Oil prices moved up by 3% to $82 per barrel, as 2024 world oil demand growth is forecast by the US Energy Information Administration at a higher than expected 1.1 million barrels per day. Demand for gold in Asia is surging despite prices hovering near record highs, as buying by China and other Asian countries seek to hedge against geopolitical and economic uncertainty continues. Gold remains firmly at over $2,300 per ounce. The economic crisis is hitting everyone, even goats, as they buckle up and work as golf caddies in a ranch in Oregon. At the Oscars of Food, the James Beard Awards, New Orleans restaurant Dhaka Nola was crowned Best New Restaurant, while restaurants in the Philippines, Mexico, Japan, Peru, Vietnam and Senegal also stood in the winning line. Who would have thought love cake would make a mark in English literature? Well, now it has. This year's Gratiaen Prize was won by Ramya Jeerasinghe for her work Father Cabral's Recipe for Love Cake. A poet, fiction and non-fiction writer, Ramya also won the Sri Lanka State Literary Joint Award in 2011, has been longlisted for the Fish Poetry Prize and joint runner-up to the Guardian Orange First Words Prize in 2009. An avid writer, she was also featured in Times Online 2009 for contemporary war poetry. Ramya joins me in the studio today, a couple of weeks after her prestigious win, to break things down in true literary style. Ramya, congratulations, you won the Gratiaen Prize for 2023. Now, in your acceptance speech, you said that the Gratiaen has been elusive to you thus far. Explain a bit.
Well, I started very early submitting to the Gratiaen. In '98 was my first shortlisting, and then again in 2009 or 2008 I got shortlisted. So I've tried several times and never won. As Ashok Ferry used to say, always the bridesmaid and never the bride.
How long was this novel in the making?
3 months in the writing of it, but 15 years germinating. Well, it began, it was spur of the moment. There was a call from the Guardian UK for a paragraph to a fictional novel called The Letting Go. So I just sent it in.
What is Father Cabral's Recipe for Love Cake about? What actually made you choose this to be the title?
Well, there is a love cake. There is a love cake in the book, but it's actually about the colonial encounter. And you know, the colonial encounter with spices and cinnamon and all that, which they used to make things out of. And it was the whole trading empire was based on that. And we still have but the leftovers of that. And the book is about that and how it changes and impacts people's lives.
What do you want your audience to take away from it?
That people living in countries like ours are never free from the history. Our lives are still marked and destroyed, mainly destroyed because of our history.
So let me get back to Father Cabral's recipe for love cake. You told us about the germination. We know what the end is like. What happened in between? What was that process like?
Well, COVID happened. And so we were left with a block of time at home and I got to write. So I got up every day and sat down for 4 hours and I wrote.
So your poems and prose have accompanied books of art and works of art. Tell me more.
Mainly Anuma Vijayavardhanas, and I'm actually quite grateful to Anuma because now maybe with the years I have acquired a body of work, but Anuma singled me out 15 years ago when no one knew my work, and I think it resonated with her work and we worked together. She asked me to write for her paintings and it was a lovely experience.
What is that process like? Do you look at the painting and then do the words flow, or how does it work?
You look at the paintings and then the words flow. And with Anumas, that's why I think we were very easy to work. It was easy for us to work together. The words just flowed. Yeah. Especially for one poem, one collection of hers called The Deliverance. That really worked, yes.
And what are some of the lessons you have learned in your whole writing process?
I don't know about the lessons from the writing process, but I can tell you the lessons from being a writer is that there are so many people who are there to support you in Sri Lanka and everywhere else. And that's very not just rewarding, that's very nice to know, that there are people around you.
I know there's a play coming up in August. Can you give us a little bit of a preview about it?
Yes, I'm thrilled because Mind Adventures by Tracy Holsinger. Tracy is directing it, and they are going to stage it for their 25th anniversary production. And it's about water and the scarcity of resources and what you can do with it to discriminate against people in a small state like ours. It's called Water for Kings. It's unusual. It's a poetic drama.
So other than this, what's more in the pipeline for you?
Well, right now just sitting here being very grateful for what I've got and what the Gratiaen has done by giving me this recognition. But now and then I just want to get back to my writing.
Okay, good luck with everything and congratulations once again, Ramama.
Thank you.
Have you ever seen a sea Vadas? Well, now you're about to, as we venture into the eastern province to meet the Maha-Atta, the chieftain of the Sea Vadas. Sea Vadas live between Valachene and Trincomalee. They are mostly Hindu, speak Tamil, and earn their livelihoods in Chena cultivation, collecting honey, and fishing. We ventured into Vakare to meet with the Maha-Atta, the chieftain of the Sea Vadas, the head of the Adivasi Empire. My aim is to help my people because this is our generational empire. We have always lived off the land, fishing, hunting and foraging, but some years ago we were prohibited from living off the forest. We do everything by hand, the traditional way. We till our lands by hand and catch fish with rods. We don't make much money, but we manage. There are about 70 families in this village and a total of about 5,000 in various parts of the eastern province. While Maha-Atta can manage to speak in Sinhala, the other Sea Vadas converse only in Tamil. Our language has changed over time. Our children now go to school, and with that, our language is disappearing. The Sea Vadas are an endogamous community and have very distinct rituals like holding pujas to the ship demons who are believed to have brought infectious diseases into the land. Another unique feature is that during non-puja times, offerings include hunted meat and home-brewed alcohol. Have a dip in the ocean and check out the planet's heartbeat. We'll see you next week.